Are you sick of your internet speed not being as fast as it can be? Do you just blame it on your ISP and just keep putting up with it? Hi, I'm Shamrock, and I'm here to help. The first step is to determine if your slow speeds are being caused by your own equipment or if it's your ISP's fault. This is often the hardest part to diagnose, since most ISPs will blame your equipment since they don't see a problem, and most people will blame their ISP because they don't see a problem either. If you have a good ISP, they will likely go through some troubleshooting steps similar to the ones I'm going to share with you to help solve the problem. Before we do anything else, it's a good idea to perform a power cycle. This is where we turn everything off for at least 10 minutes and turn it back on. This includes your router, computer, phone, NBN box, and anything else that you may have that allows you to access the internet. After it's been turned back on, if your internet issues are still present, that is where we need to investigate further. If this has fixed your internet issues, then you can stop watching this video and get back to it. Don't forget to like and subscribe in case your issues do come back. The next step is to perform a speed test so that we can get a base number we can compare against. This is also known as the control variable. Speedtest.net is a great website for performing this speed test. If you are on a satellite connection with high latency, there is another site you should use instead, which I will show you shortly. To run the speed test, go to speedtest.net and press the Go button. This will take a few minutes to perform the test. You will be presented with a download speed, upload speed, and ping. Make note of these numbers. For satellite users, or to test other devices like smart TVs which don't have as good as a web browser, use fast.com. Just load up the website and it will start automatically. Press the Show More Info button to get your upload speed and ping. Perform the speed test and note down what speed you got. Ping, download, and upload speed are the important numbers here. Next, it's good to know what your line speed is. This is the speed that is coming into your house before it hits your router or modem or devices. This can be tricky and will only work if your ISP has given you a dynamic IP address. Service providers that use PPPoE will not work for this part of the test. Contact your ISP if you are unsure. To do this line test, we want to turn off your router and unplug it. Now we want to connect your computer via an Ethernet cable direct to where your internet comes from. For NBN, this will be the NBN box. This will allow your computer to access the internet directly. Now perform a speed test and note down the result. This is your line speed. You want to be able to get this line speed everywhere in your house through your router. If your line speed is nowhere near the speeds you are paying for from your ISP, then this rules out any issues you have with your network configuration. You should also try another Ethernet cable from your computer just in case. But if that doesn't work, then this means the issue is related to your ISP and not your equipment, and you should give them a call. It could be anything from your ISP's network being congested, their equipment failing, network maintenance. Just give your ISP a call and they should be able to fix it. If not, feel free to shop around and find another ISP. If your line speed is close to what you should be getting, then it's time to make some changes to your network to achieve your full speeds. Now, there is a few things you can do to try to improve your home Wi-Fi. I will list a few of them in a minute. However, it's important to perform another speed test after each change you make so that you know exactly when to stop and you know exactly what the problem was. Number 1. Make sure your router is placed in a central location in your house. Think of Wi-Fi like a bubble. It comes from a central point and goes outwards. You want to make sure you have as strong of a signal as possible. Sometimes running Ethernet through the walls from the internet entry point to a more central location can greatly improve your performance. Try another device. Sometimes internet issues are just with the one device you're currently using. If other devices are fine, then there's a chance the problem could just be with that one device, some kind of malicious activity or bug. Number 3, if you live close to your neighbours Wi-Fi may be interfering with your network. Each Wi-Fi band has its own channel it operates on. While most routers are able to scan the environment and choose the best channel automatically, sometimes this doesn't work. In your router settings, you should be able to select different Wi-Fi channels to see if that makes any difference. Just have a play around. Number 4, your wireless bandwidth on your router may not be enough for all your devices. Think of bandwidth as lanes on a highway. The more cars you have, the more lanes you need. If you don't have enough lanes, the cars will slow down. They will still get to the destination, but at a reduced speed. Each router has a set amount of wireless bandwidth, and this is shared across all devices connected to the wireless band. Just having 10 wireless devices connected to a network can start to eat away at this bandwidth if your router isn't equipped with sufficient bandwidth. Good routers will have over 2,000 megabits per second of bandwidth, whereas cheaper ones sometimes have less than 1,000 megabits per second. My own network has over 6,000 megabits per second, so you definitely want to have some bandwidth there. There's also the 2.4 GHz band and the 5 GHz band. These frequencies also have their own bandwidth. This is great since it allows you to choose what band each device connects to, allowing you to manage it better. 2.4 GHz has more power for greater distances, however is not as fast, whereas the 5 GHz is a wider spectrum, so it can handle more traffic, but the distance isn't as great. I'd recommend the 2.4 GHz band for things like mobile devices like phones, tablets, laptops that may be walked around, and the 5 GHz band is recommended for devices that need more power like smart TVs, gaming consoles, and that kind of stuff. Number 5, eliminate devices that connect to your Wi-Fi. If you have a smart TV, chances are it has an Ethernet port. While using the Ethernet port, your device doesn't have to use any of your Wi-Fi bandwidth and will get its own set of Ethernet bandwidth. My motto, if it can be plugged into Ethernet, do it. If you cannot get close to your line speed at all after any of these steps, it may be that your router is underpowered or could be a sign that it is at the end of its life. Changing the Wi-Fi password is a great way of kicking all devices off the Wi-Fi. Then simply connect 1 or 2 devices back to the Wi-Fi to see if it's made a difference. If you do need to buy a new router, I would recommend the brand ASUS. It's the router I use and they are very good. Of course, there are plenty of other routers out there to choose from, and they are not all made equally. Some of the cheaper routers, while they still do the job, they don't do the job very well, hence why they are cheap. If this video has helped you fix your internet issues, please give it a like. If you have any questions that you may need help with, please leave me a comment and I will make a recommendation as to what your next step should be. I'll see you all later.